Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our show. Welcome to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephne Hockenhull, and I am here with my co host, my son, Gene Williams. Come on in, son.
Oh,
he's he's backstage doing some other stuff.
hey everybody, hey mom.
He's backstage doing some other stuff. Hold on a second. I got too much going on here. Um, I am asking if you are here at the show, if you would share your screen. And while I'm asking you to do that, I am doing the same thing. Share not your screen, but share your page so that other people can come in. So give me just a minute here. Uh, okay, that's not acting right. Okay, I'll have to fix that in a minute. Uh, we are here to share about bullying versus love. So we thank you, Beverly, and thanks for being on the show. Mine is not working for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing here. Um, and I hear echo.
That's me. Give me a second.
Okay.
Try to share real quick.
All right, y'all. We're trying to get it together. Oh, I know where I need to be. Right here. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on a second. We got devices.
You know, devices and vices.
All right, now I got mine set up. So again, welcome to Where is the Love, where we talk about bullying and we talk about love. Right now, we are our subject is narcissistic bullying. Narcissistic bullies have the narcissistic personality disorder, and they are doing way too much. And it has been mind blowing to see how much the narcissistic bully does and the life that they lead, and how negatively they affect and impact others. So that is what we are talking about. So we always recap at the beginning of the show. Um, we always talk about what happened on the last show. And so we will recap what we did on the show 2 weeks ago. Last week we did our show and there was a lot of echoes, and we are determined we're going to get this message out. We are going to get this information out to you. So I chose to delete all that entire show and to redo this show. So you may hear some things that you heard 2 weeks ago, and you may hear some new stuff with Gene and I. You never know what you're going to get. So
You never know.
So, Gene, share the recap, please, if you don't mind.
Alrighty. So the first thing we discuss is why do narcissists act and react the way that they do, and what drives them. All right. So here are some signs of narcissists and what to look out for. One thing is that they expect to be admired, and I do want to clear up that there's nothing wrong with expecting to be admired. It's the lack of reciprocation that's the problem as it pertains to relationships with a narcissist. Everyone in a relationship expects to be, or would hope to be admired, but it's the fact that they expect it and they don't return the favor is the issue.
Yeah, I want to interject before you go on.
Yeah.
Again, just like Gene said, it's okay to expect to be admired, but when you're overdoing it and you expect to be admired without,
Reciprocation.
Yep, without reciprocation, then you're doing too much. So don't put the light on you and act like you're the only one in the world. You're the only one that exists.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
They have a self-centric mentality.
Yeah.
So and that's where the issue comes in. All right. So next, they exaggerate their lives, as in they have a cold. Oh, I'm dying. I'm dying of lupus or whatever.
It's not the
Yeah,
lupus I'm laughing at. It's the over exaggeration of
right,
a small thing,
right,
and you
exactly.
making it something you hypochondriac.
Oh yeah, we know people like that.
Yeah,
Um, all right, they believe that they are superior, and this is a front because in truth they are dealing with a deep-seated sense of inferiority and insecurity, which is why and it goes along the lines of the saying of the cliche, misery loves company. So a person who is miserable and is not confident in their own self, they will pull people down to their level so that they feel higher. They'll stand on the backs of the people they pull down.
right.
So next, they take advantage of others and lack empathy. Um, they live in a fantasy world. They demean, intimidate, and bully others to get what they want.
Yep.
They have the need to be controlling and manipulative. Same thing, just a different word. They have to control and manipulate everything so it goes the way that they think it should because they think they know everything. They think they know better than everyone else and that their opinion is the only one that matters.
Right.
Um, they strive for perfection, which, I wouldn't say they strive for perfection. They strive for uh, their perspective to be put forth, and that's perfection to them because they know everything. They're better than
Right.
everybody. Um, and then they lack accountability and blame others. And also within this, they also are notorious for gaslighting. You know, um, a situation transpires, and then they say either it didn't transpire or they skew how it transpired.
Right.
They elevate certain things and dilute certain things to make their agenda or their perspective the one that looks right.
Right.
So that's the recap for the last show.
And so we are going to finish this conversation. Why do narcissists act and react the way they do? What is driving them? Um, so more narcissists, more signs of a narcissist and what to look for. They lack boundaries. They
Yes,
believe that everything belongs to them. Everyone thinks, feels, and acts as they do, and everyone has similar goals as they do. That's what the narcissists think. That's how they think, and that's horrible because we're all different. We're all unique. We um, don't all do the same things. We don't all think the same. So the best thing to do is to honor and accept uh, other people's differences and not try to make them um, believe like you do and think like you do.
right.
So also um, their perspective is incredibly similar to a toddler. Jean, I want you to elaborate on that because when you,
Yeah. So their perspective being incredibly similar to a toddler, everything revolves around them. And then when they don't get their way, they have temper tantrums of all sorts. Hey, hey, Curtis, how you doing?
hey, Curtis.
Um, they are small-minded, short-sighted. They're not, again, egocentric. They're only thinking of themselves. They have no desire and no ability to see outside of their own perspective.
Yeah,
And again, in many ways, they find ways to throw tantrums or manipulate, triangulate. Um, they circumnavigate boundaries. It's just like they there's no sense of maturity within them, emotionally, mentally. or otherwise. Um, everything is a bad guy. It's not lining up with their perspective and their desire, which is so short-sighted. You
Yeah.
know?
Also, a narcissist is shocked and highly insulted when they are told no or to do something that does not line up with their desires.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You want to elaborate?
Oh, yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I just said, but it's like how can you deny me? I'm right. This is how it should be. No, no, there's growth. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has a different experience,
Yep.
and the beauty of having a relationship is being able to take another person's perspective, your perspective, come together, discuss it, and find some middle ground. But they expect it just to be how it is, and if you tell them no, they will either throw a temper tantrum or find a million ways to try to like coerce you to do exactly what they want you to do, with
Right.
no care in the world for how you feel, how you see things, how you think they should go. They don't care. It's all
Right.
about them.
And that person also has the my way or the highway
Yes.
mentality.
And they're
Uh,
notorious for ultimatums and stuff like that. That's another control mechanism.
yeah. Um, if narcissists want something from someone, they will go to great lengths to figure out and conjure up a plan to get it with manipulation tactics, threats, or simply, as Jean said, a temper tantrum.
Yeah. And they'll put on full experiences from personally. They'll put on full on smear campaigns. Take information again. Take truth. They'll take a situation. Uh, Again, dilute certain things that make them look um, wrong, and then uh, exacerbate uh, situations that are smaller to make them look big, so that they look like the victim.
Yeah,
Um, Again, that victimhood mentality. That's a manipulation tactic. Um, the smear campaign, another manipulation tactic. Ultimatum. Um, the there's the going off and having a big temper tantrum out loud, and then there's also the but I don't want to talk to you, and avoiding and all of that stuff. Like that's another manipulation tactic. So it goes from one extreme to the next. There's polar opposites of the same coin.
yeah. So y'all see, these people are really hard to deal with, and although we have both experienced a lot of people pleasing, from our end, because we wanted people to like us and wanted people to want us to be around us. Um, it's easy for us to talk about this because these
It's the
people's
first hand.
go, yeah, we have definitely experienced it firsthand, and it's no joke. Um, but we are determined to continue to create boundaries now that we've learned how to create boundaries in our lives. We are determined to continue to create boundaries um, and uh, not people please at all. So uh, we recognize it quickly when we're doing it now and choose not to do it.
Yeah, and people pleasing is um, not done from a sense of desire to be accepted. It's actually done from the sense of being afraid of being rejected, being alienated, and things of that sort. So, people pleasing is fear based. So we're not trying to live that type of life. We
Right,
want to live a fully intentional, fully aware, and truly happy and truly constantly evolving and developing personally and beyond in life. And you can't do that from a fear based foundation.
right. Curtis, if you are still here, will you share your Um,
The
Facebook
five.
page. So, what'd you say, Gene?
I'm gonna say the 5 steps.
Yeah, share the 5 steps, Curtis. No, I'm just kidding. We're just kidding. Okay, so the next thing is expecting attention and validation. Gene, go ahead with that one.
All right, they expect attention and validation. It's important to note that wanting or expecting validation isn't necessarily an automatic sign of narcissism. We discussed that already because, again, in any relationship, you want attention and validation. It's just the fact that a narcissist expects it, demands it, and does not return it. That's
Right.
where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
Right? All right, narcissists tend to expect validation because they believe that they are entitled to the energy of others. That's just, yeah, that's just disgusting. I'm entitled to your energy? No, only if I offer it to you, only if I give it to you willingly. But for you to demand and expect it, my energy, which is mine, no, that's a problem. Because because again, it always ends up one-sided. You give, and you get nothing in return, and eventually you're depleted. And how can you help someone when you are depleted? You know, we got the cliche that states you can't give from an empty vessel. So they constantly drain us. And we have the term energy vampire. They just constantly suck and suck and suck until nothing's left. You know, there was a uh, um, former robust person at one point, and then eventually they become emaciated. You know, just from the draining of the energy that a narcissist brings to the table. It's constantly exhausting. You're
Yeah.
constantly walking on eggshells. You're feeding someone energy because that's what they demand, but you get nothing back. So it's not a symbiotic relationship. It ends up being parasitic, and then eventually there's a death, not a healthy one of sorts. So
Yeah. So, and you said it's draining. So it is draining mentally, physically, and emotionally,
yeah.
and I just wanted to add that part. Curtis, thanks for being here. And Beverly, we're glad we're sharing information that's helpful because that's our whole purpose here.
Right. All right. They may become agitated when they aren't shown attention, and they may refuse to accept contradicting points of view or potential conflict. Yeah, they have a horrible sense of accepting. I think we're taught in this society to not accept criticism. We kind of talked about this with Curtis. It's difficult to accept criticism in this world because we're taught that it's bad to be wrong. But no, like there's growth. There's growth in realizing that I'm flawed. You know, I don't have the the proper perspective for the situation. Um, and someone may rebuff you. If you can take a step back as an intelligent, mental, and emotional being and look at what they said and then analyze it, you can learn a lot from it, even if it's given to you from a constructive or destructive standpoint. Either way, there's information there that you could glean something from if you're aware enough to step back, detach from it and get information. But a narcissist, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Whatever I say is right. And if you got an issue with what I'm saying, then it's an issue you trying to fight. You trying to start an argument. You trying to start an argument. No, I have a different perspective.
Right.
And I'm just trying to, hey, maybe if you look at it like this, if you turn it, 3% this way, or 15% that way, you may see a whole different picture.
Yeah.
And that's each person's personality. 12%, switch it. And there's so much to learn from different perspectives, but it's an automatic argument with them when you try to show them something that is not what they want to hear. Automatic. Yeah. You want to fight. No, I want peace.
Right.
4 pieces to the left.
Peace is much better than all this drama you trying to create just because I don't think like you.
Right.
No, I don't want it.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, like we are all unique versions of the creator. So why, when we try to force everybody, fishbowl everybody into the mindset that we all got to be the same thing?
Right.
No, if we got to be the same thing, then why would we create it different? We all look different. We all develop differently. We learn differently. We think differently. That's the beauty of being a unique version of the creator. So how about we accept that and learn from it? Do so much better that way.
Right.
To manipulate someone's perspective.
Hey, Sharon. Shout out to Sharon. She said, I value my peace over all that mess.
Yes, Lord. Give me peace. Give me peace. A leaving pieces. See, you gotta look over the finger too. You gotta look over it.
Do it just like that.
You know.
All right. So also the narcissistic person is driven by hidden fears.
Oh,
yeah. So
exit stage left.
So they may seem self-obsessed and entitled. These behaviors can often hide a deep sense of insecurity and lack of satisfaction.
Yeah. So I can speak on that. The person that we know had the ability, the potential to be a beautiful person. This person didn't know who they were at a deep level. And because of the lack of knowledge of themselves and lack of desire to do the work to get in tune with themselves, they began to project those the insecurity and lack of satisfaction for their own particular life onto me.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm doing anything that makes me happy, makes me smile, this person has an attitude about it. Why are you mad? Because I'm happy.
Because misery loves company.
I don't understand. I thought you were supposed to like to see me happy. I love it when you happy. I don't know. It's just is what it is. It's a very they're not in tune with themselves. They have a total lack of knowledge of who they are, which breeds insecurity, the inferiority complex, which they twist and make it superior. So they got to put everybody down to lift themselves up. Which, if you got to pull somebody down, lift yourself up, how strong are you really?
Yeah.
You're not strong at all.
Right.
Everyone has the right to be up here, and a person who's truly evolved and aware wants to lift everybody up because we all deserve it. Yeah. We all deserve to be lifted up here. Everyone, not just you, not just the dude down the street. No, everyone. We all deserve to be lifted up. Yo, you're amazing. God created you for a purpose. I'm here to help you however I can fulfill that. So.
And in doing that, then you're loving others.
Exactly.
As you have learned to love yourself. You're being kind and compassionate by, sharing, by lifting others up, by inspiring and empowering other people.
Yep.
And so that is real love.
Yep.
By doing those things. Sharon said, and want a sense of perceived control. Yes.
Yes. Yep. They gotta keep the tight reins on you. Yeah. Come back here. You're having too much fun. You're having too much fun. You're living your life too much. Stop.
I can't take it because you having too much fun.
Right. I mean, when you see a person having fun and stuff, and you
got your nose all turned up,
get that ugly face off, man. Get that ugly way, man. I don't even understand. God, I'm happy. You mad?
Right. And you don't understand it because you're not that type of person. So you're
Right.
like, what the heck is really going on here?
Right.
So, were you gonna say something else?
Lord.
It's important to remember narcissistic personality disorder causes deep distress to the individual who has it, um, as well as those around them, surrounding them. I was trying to look at this and Beverly,
Right. Lord. LAWD. Lord.
I told Beverly she had to come on here so she can get her laugh on. um, Narcissists may have deep seated fears of being abandoned or rejected, which you said that earlier, which are often informed by experiences they've had with others.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about that is they have a deep-seated fear of being abandoned and alienated and rejected. However, they do things that make you want to leave.
Yeah.
So they'll say stuff like, "I don't have no emotional attachment to you anymore," and you striving, "Please, please love me, please," and then you get tired. You know what? I'm tired of begging this person for love. You know what? I'm gonna go. How we doing, Beverly? We don't go to the left, and then as soon as you start going left, they come
Yep.
back, come
Right.
back.
I didn't
Who
mean
got
it.
time
I
to be
want you.
right? Who got time to be a yo-yo?
Yep.
I'm not a yo-yo. You want me today? Now you don't. Now you do. Now, can we make up our minds, please? Pretty please.
You a mess.
Hey, I got energy drinking me now. I'm good.
They may be afraid of being proved wrong or having to acknowledge their own flaws. Their seeming sense of self importance might be a defense mechanism to keep them from needing to acknowledge their own imperfection. You want to add anything? Gwen
Yeah.
Chamberlain gave love to the show as well. Thank you, Gwen. Shout out to Gwen Chamberlain. Hey, hey.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jean.
I was gonna say. So we kind of touched on that earlier. Um, yeah, they will not acknowledge their flaws, or if they do, it's with a with a addendum. Well, I did this, but
Right. Yep.
you know, I mean, again, we could dissect that sentence structure or whatever. It's all about acknowledging first. You know, you have to acknowledge, hey, I messed up.
Yep.
This is a growing situation. I can grow from this. This is a learning experience. I messed up. I said or did something that was not conducive to something positive. And now, all right, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll do better. What can we do to make this better? But no, it's they don't want to know. It makes them wrong. It makes them less than if they acknowledge their fault. Oh, don't make you less than. It makes you a person who's growing.
Right.
It's part of growth. You made mistakes. In school, you made mistakes. How do you learn from it? You practice over and over again to do the thing that's right. And then you get it. But when you make a mistake, acknowledge it.
Yep.
And so again, it just shows they don't want that true inferior feeling that they have about themselves to be shown through by them acknowledging that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Who's perfect though?
Right.
Who's
Exactly.
perfect?
Yep.
No one. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to get better every day.
Yep.
It's a constant. What did Paul, was it a Paul said, "I die daily"?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that old person that lived when you woke up today. The person that lives from the time that you woke up to the time you go to bed is one person. When you go to
Yep.
sleep tonight, the person that was there the day before is dead. You're supposed to grow.
Yep.
Each day you're supposed to get incrementally better.
Yep.
365 days a year. Every day, if you take one step towards where you want to be, you will be 365 days past who you used to be.
Right. Amen. Amen.
It ain't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about consistency. It's about growth. You have to,
Exactly.
right. You have to acknowledge your faults in order to grow.
Yeah.
When a seed is planted into the ground, it starts as a seed. You put it in the ground. That seed, once it gets water and it gets the nourishment from the earth, then it opens up. So that form that was in originally changes. You got a seed that's busted open with a little sprout coming out of it.
Yeah.
That's a new version of it. And then as
Yeah.
it constantly grows, it grows more. Now the roots are growing from where the shell was. You got this longer sprout coming up. And then eventually you got a plant or a tree of some sort. This is the progress of evolution over time. Constant work, constant progress towards your goal, never perfection, because you're always supposed to be growing.
Right.
You can't be perfect if you're constantly growing.
Yeah. And that's a great analogy. And something that came to mind is something that Beverly gave me that I passed on to you is we have to grow through
What we go
what
through.
we go through.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. So it's a constant it's a constant thing. So narcissists are also unable to be truly vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, a narcissist is often unable to truly be vulnerable, which can lead to serious problems with emotional intimacy.
Oh, yeah.
You want to add something?
Oh, yeah. So a person, the fear of being intimate definitely causes emotional intimacy problems because they operate from a surface standpoint. It's not about deep-seated love, making sacrifices and compromises to make this relationship work. They're on the surface. I want this to look a certain way,
Right.
And then when you're living that, when you're operating from a shallow standpoint, you can't uh, find yourself, okay, maybe I need to change, I need to work on this, and we can try this compromise to see if this works better for everybody. It's not about that. So they don't have the ability to dive deep emotionally, mentally, spiritually, to find light in dark situations. They just want it the way they want it, and if they can't have it, they throw tantrums. So and not being able to dive deep, not being very surface, makes it difficult for you to have a long lasting, truly um, substantial relationship.
Yeah. That's good. Good information. Some narcissists, so we're talking about them being unable to, the inability for them to truly be vulnerable. So some narcissists may view vulnerability as a form of weakness, or they may be afraid vulnerability will cause them to be abandoned or hurt. Can you imagine living a life of constantly being in fear of being abandoned or hurt? That is truly a miserable person because you're never happy. You never can be happy. You can never, you don't even, I can't even imagine that person even thinking thoughts. Well, at least if they do think those thoughts of being um, happy, they don't know how to obtain it, how to get it,
Because they don't want to give
how
it
to
up.
hold on to it. I got the thought, but I don't know what to do with it. So it disappears because I mean that's just how I see it. It disappears because you didn't know how to handle it. You
Right,
had a good thought, but you didn't know how to handle it.
right. Yeah. And I think the difference between most, because I mean, we have to admit, we all have the fear of being abandoned and hurt. We all
Yeah.
do. It's just about the difference in the reaction. You're afraid to do it, but you still allow yourself to step into that, even with the knowledge that you may get hurt. A person with narcissistic personality disorder and a person who's narcissistic, period, is not going to even allow themselves to go there because they had to keep up this hard exterior. I
That's
can't be
right.
touched, I can't be hurt. When deep down they're already hurt.
Yeah.
So they're only manifesting outwardly what they already feel within. So they keep that shell up, they keep everybody at arm's length, and then wonder why they're always being abandoned or hurt. Well, I didn't ever get to know you.
Yeah.
I've been with you for almost 20 years of my life and still don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And the deal is you don't either.
Yeah. And hurt people constantly hurt each other. I mean, because you're living in constant fear and hurt, you're constantly pushing that off onto other people. Um, and it may not be that you're trying to do that, but I mean that's exactly what happened. Um, you want to add anything else?
Yeah. And so, and conversely, not only did they feel this as a form of weakness for themselves, but they see it as a form of weakness in others.
Yeah.
And they use that as a means to manipulate and control.
Yeah.
You allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to try to step out of yourself and help them. Okay, I'm gonna use them. I'm gonna use that energy against them.
Yeah.
You know, either they may down you, oh, you too soft, da 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 da, or oh, okay, he likes me. Let's see what I can get out of him. You know, that's the mindset of a person like that. It's either, you know, they weak, oh, they weak because he cried. Everyone cries.
Right.
You do know that, right?
Yep.
You know, or oh, I'm gonna use that against him. Oh, he gonna do that. All right, hey, can I borrow $500 to pay my bill? No, that's what the job is for.
Get you one.
You know, or
So some narcissists may also dislike vulnerability in others and be unable to show emotional support. This can also make it difficult for narcissists to seek treatment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, to get therapy and treatment for mental disorder like this, you have to acknowledge first you have a problem. That's the
Yep.
first thing to recover. Acknowledgement of the fact that you have a problem. So for them, it's like I can't be vulnerable, so they go into a therapy situation with that front on in front of the therapist. So they paint this picture to the therapist that everything is good, when truthfully they are torn up on the inside. They are shattered, they are broken, they are tattered on the inside, but they can't show it because they don't have that ability. Um, so, and then also as it pertains to support for others, they don't have that well to draw from, you know, of giving emotional support because they don't feel emotionally connected to their own selves. So how
Yeah.
can they emotionally connect to other people? They don't
Yeah.
have that well to draw from. So it becomes either a tool. Either way, it becomes a tool of manipulation.
Yeah.
Short and simple.
Yeah. There made me think about compassion. They don't have a heart of compassion as
That
well. So they're unlikely to express that they're experiencing true distress in their day-to-day lives since this opens them up to vulnerability. You want to add something?
All depends on the narcissist. Some of them complain about it all the time,
Yeah.
all the time, and do no work to make that change.
Yeah.
And that's the disturbing thing. It's like you have an otherwise intelligent being here in front of you who constantly acknowledges the fact that they're going through the stress but will not do the work to make that change.
Yeah.
So then you're complaining about the same thing but not doing anything. So you're creating an avalanche, a big snowball full of stress and distress. And then you, the bigger it gets, it involves more people.
That's
And
sad.
it consumes everything around it, just
Yeah.
like an avalanche. It's like a tsunami. It consumes everything, leaving nothing left unaffected. and that's a problem because you're not able to acknowledge within yourself that you over acknowledge or you under acknowledge the fact that you have issues, you have distress. Then you create more distress and more tension and more chaos with the people around you.
Yeah, that's that's a lot to even think about. I mean, that person has to really be dealing with a lot of, I can't even imagine, you
Yeah.
know. So we've already talked about temper tantrums. So um, they also talk over and interrupt others. So go ahead with that part.
Lord. Oh man. All right. Narcissists will often interrupt others or talk over them because they don't consider the input of others valuable. Man, you want to touch on that?
So it's important to listen to people. It's important to uh, thank you, Curtis. It's important to learn to listen to people. Practice listening skills. You don't always have to have something. Sharon said that part. You don't always have to have something to say. Learn to listen. Learning to listen is very important, a very important piece of communication. No matter who you're communicating with, listening is important. You don't have to always talk, and you definitely don't need to talk over people. Be quiet and listen sometimes.
Yep.
It ain't gonna hurt you.
Right. And so that touches on what we talked about last time. We talked about active listening.
Yeah.
The ability to actually sit quietly and analyze what the person is saying. If a person is saying something in the conversation that you're having, you have something to say, keep you one of these by. Write notes. Instead of interrupting the person that's talking to you, write notes down. Okay, they said this. Write it down. Let them finish. Let them keep talking. And when they finish what they're saying, all right, so I just want to go back and discuss what you were saying. So you said here XYZ, and you go from there. But if you're constantly cutting the person off, first off, you show a lack of true desire and ability to be an active listener. And two, you show a lack of concern about what the person is saying, and therefore themselves. Um, Showing a lack of concern about them because you're not allowing them to be heard. You have to be the only one that's heard, and that's actually quite negative as it pertains to any type of relationship, business, romantic, friendship, motherhood, fatherhood, however you want to go about it. Being an active listener is a vital part of your relationship being an authentic one that grows over
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
again, if you're having a conversation with a person and they're saying things that you feel like you need to discuss, get you a notebook, write down your questions. After they're done talking, then you go back and review the notes that you had and further develop the conversation that you're having instead of cutting them off. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm gonna talk about personal experience. I hate to be cut off. It frustrates the crap out of me, especially when I'm trying to have a conversation with you about something that's important, and you're cutting me off to defend a point that you may not even have heard the end of where I was going. You heard one thing, and
Yeah.
now you got, now I didn't say it like that. I didn't mean that when I said. First off, I wasn't
Yeah.
finished. If you would let me finish what I was saying, you would have heard there was a resolve to that.
Yeah.
But you cut me off mid-sentence, and now I got to start back from the start. Now you're mad because I'm repeating myself.
Yeah.
Before you just shut your mouth, I wouldn't have to repeat nothing.
Yep. Chris used to say, if you can't receive if you always transmitting.
You heard me, man. You heard me, man. He said that. He spoke a
Yeah.
word.
You a mess.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so they also struggle to listen to what others are saying, especially if it conflicts with their own opinions or views. And you just kind of touched on that. You want to add anything to it?
Nah, we said everything. We said everything, man.
All right, another element contributing to this is a sense of attention seeking. Those are the ones that drive me ding dong. You
Cuckoo,
are not right. Make me cuckoo for Cocoa
cuckoo for Coco stuff.
because you are not the only one in the room. So you don't get all the attention. Learn how to receive and stop transmitting so much.
Right. We're gonna share the
So
spotlight.
yeah, I those are the ones that really get to me. I just have a hard I have a challenge with those kind of people. So narcissists may interrupt others because they believe their own voice and point of view is more important. We've talked about that already. You want to add anything to it?
Yeah, and you also may find like,
Hey, Pastor Darlin Brown. Thanks for being
hey,
on our show. Hey, hey. Go ahead, Gene.
also they just may not have the, and it, again, from the person that we know mutually, they also just may not have the emotional maturity to actually just sit back and listen. Like, it takes maturity to sit back and not feel like I gotta constantly attack. You said
Right.
something, it's a fight in your mind.
Yeah.
Why does it gotta be a fight? This is a conversation. We're
Right.
discussing something. You don't agree with it? Write it down on your notebook. Let me finish what I'm saying. We'll come back to what you gotta say. And we can respect each other's airspace.
Yeah.
But you know, it takes emotional maturity to chill out and actually absorb someone else's point of view and
And
therefore honor it.
and I want to add to that emotional maturity. Just because you're 40 or 50 years old don't mean that you're emotionally mature. The age has nothing to do with emotional maturity. So we you want to say something? Were you about to say something?
Yeah, so I'm trying to let you finish. I've always detested the statement or the cliche, age it comes with wisdom. No,
Yeah.
that's not true. Not true. Age and wisdom are not synonymous.
Yeah.
Wisdom is the ability to apply knowledge in an effective and efficient way. Anyone can do that if they study and pay attention. You don't have to be 70. You can be 17
Yep.
and take information and apply it effectively and efficiently. And therefore, that's wisdom.
Right.
So, yeah, that's always just kind of disturbed me.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So our producer said, I've seen some emotionally immature 70 and 80-year-old individuals. That is so very true.
Yep.
Again, age has nothing to do with
Doing wisdom.
emotional, yep, or emotional
Sure.
maturity.
Yep.
They, we said this already, they want to be the center of attention, to be acknowledged rather than waiting for their turn to speak. So we said a piece of that.
Right.
So that's the person that always talk over and interrupt others. That's the narcissist. That's the part of a narcissist. Another piece of a narcissist. You want to add something, Gene?
No, you hit it on the head that time.
All right. So they can be quite charming and persuasive. You want to?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, they may be good at consciously or subconsciously manipulating others. Um, yeah, yeah, they use all types of mechanisms to control people. You know, again, either you know that version or
Yeah.
wow, I look like Gianna when I did that. That was funny. You know, you got the polarities of the people who they go one way or the other. And it's manipulation either way, you know, control mechanisms of all sorts. You know, oh, woe was me. You know, who had that nickname, right?
Yep. Yep.
Uh, you know, and again, so they'll go to people and create a whole narrative with them as a victim when they're the ones doing the abuse.
Yeah.
So man.
So
um,
our producer said, let's not forget the former narcissist in in chief. I think is in his 80s now. Yes, I am cracking on Trump.
you better not say that. He gonna be the president again.
No, oh no, y'all, let's pray. Let's get to praying, fasting and praying. That can't be a thing again. And then he said, okay, he is only 76.
Yeah.
He's still too old to be doing the stuff he was doing, but he's a narcissist. Okay, so this is another thing about a narcissist that just drives me in a direction I don't want to go in or don't like to go in. So a narcissist likes to get attention by being the life of the party. Again, you are not the only one in the room. I mean, there's a narcissist in my life that I didn't even realize was a narcissist until we started talking about the narcissist. I started learning more and learning that. So the narcissist that I'm talking about can be in a room full of people and got something to say and want everybody to be quiet. I'm gonna tell a joke. And so, okay, well, everybody ain't gonna be quiet, so I'm not gonna tell the joke. What in the world? It's 10, 20 other people in this room and you want everybody to be quiet? That I don't like that either. So y'all have a challenge. Pray for me. I have a challenge.
Everybody lay hands on the
So they may exaggerate their own life experiences, tell outlandish stories, and be loud and overly friendly. That is the same thing, same person that I've seen that in, and it gets to me. I have a really hard time with that type of person. So we're getting close to the end of the show. So many narcissists seem passionate and charming at the start of a relationship. When the relationship progresses, their inability to connect on a fundamental level becomes apparent. So we've talked about in the past shows, we've talked about the person with the mask. When you meet them, that is the representative. They have this mask on. So if they're not authentic, that is.
right.
Some people are authentic, and those are the people that are easier to get along with and easier to deal with. But those that have on the mask, that representative, when that mask comes off or when that representative leaves and that real person comes out, man, they are something to deal with. You want to add something, Gene?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you know, generally they start off, like I said, they start off charming, seeming like they really care about you on a deep level, and then when it gets to real life stuff, you see that they have no concern for you. You know, it's all about concern for themselves, and you should always pay attention to the red flags. Always pay attention. There's the cliche: when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Yep.
First time.
Maya
That
Angelou.
mask flips a little bit. When it slips, I saw you.
Yep.
And what do, people? We
give them another chance.
Left. Well,
that's
real life stuff though. Yeah, people
right.
like us with rose-colored glasses on, we give them another chance.
Yep.
Well, maybe that was a mistake. Then they do it again 50 more times. Oh, my love can change them. You can't.
Yep.
And actually, that's wrong with you. Like the goal is not to change a person.
Yeah.
They change as a byproduct of their choices. We can either be there as an impetus to help them change, if they accept it, or an impetus for the opposite, if they choose it. But it's all up to them to choose how they are as a person, not us. You can't take that as a mantle on our own shoulders to try to develop someone else. That's their work to do. You do your work, they'll do theirs, and then everyone is better.
Right.
But if we can't do it like that, then you're only causing more drama and chaos than is worth.
Right. Maya Angelou said it best when she said, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So our producer said, not for public consumption. Okay. So I better start reading. Okay, so I get to that in a minute. So a manipulative, this is our last thing. A manipulative narcissist may be able to convince others to do things they don't want to do or to provide attention at the cost of their own well-being. You want to add something, Gene?
Nah.
Okay. We are at the end of our show. We didn't get into the boundaries today because this narcissist is just, there's so much to the narcissist. So we are done talking about the narcissist and giving different tips about the narcissist. So on our, go ahead.
We're not done talking about the narcissistic personality disorder. That was the end of the things to look out for as it pertains to a person with narcissistic personality disorder.
Thank you. So now,
I'm sorry. We'll go on next week to add in the discussion about boundaries as it pertains to narcissistic personality disorder. So stay tuned for that.
Yes. So we'll tell you how to create the boundaries, healthy boundaries, bad boundaries, what are boundaries. We'll talk about all that on our show next week. So we have some resources. As of yesterday, our producer let us know that there is a new suicide hotline as well as a mental health hotline. So, and that number, instead of 911, it is 988. So when you dial that number 988, you will be calling into the suicide hotline, and you will also be dialing into the mental health hotline. That is a resource. Also, another resource is I have self-published 2 books. One is a workplace bullying book, Trouble on the Inside, What's Going On. This book is giving you some of my stories, some of what I've experienced in the workplace. And so it's telling you what's going on physically, that you can see physically with your eyes, and also that you're experiencing spiritually on the inside. So again, Trouble on the Inside by me, self-published, What's Going On. And then also I wrote a workbook, Bullies, A Heart Examination Is Needed. I am authoress Stephne Lynn. So you can get this book through me. You can send me a message, a direct message, or and I will sign the book and ship it to you. I'll send you the payment information. I'll ship the book to you after I sign it. So you can have either one of these books. This book is $15 and this workbook is $20. They are also on Amazon for the same price. The only thing is you won't get them signed by me. So these are resources that you can have, resources available to you to help you with bullying, more information about bullying, and with the suicide hotline and the mental health hotline. Thank you for joining our show. Thank you for being a part of our show. We hope this information was helpful. Sharon said the books are powerful. Please get these resources. Thank you so much, Sharon. She has both of my books. So we are leaving for now. So we say peace to you. We send love with you and joy and happiness. Thanks for being on our show, for being a part of our show. We look forward to seeing you next week at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Facebook Live, on Roku Live, and on YouTube Live. Thanks again for being a part of the show. Until next time, see you later.